It's Flashback Friday, our trip down memory lane. We love celebrating the products that help shape our journey, pieces that sparked creativity, solved problems, or simply brought joy. Today, we're revisiting those standout classics and giving them the spotlight they deserve. Now, one note, some of the items used may show up as out of stock, but the main items are still here for you. Each Flashback features an exclusive limited time deal so you can score legendary products at legendary prices. Okay, let's get ready to rewind, rediscover, and save big.
This week I have for you two cute little boxes. These are just two possibilities of what you could make using the supplies. I mainly used the bakery box template with some foil papers, this pink flourish and this aqua flourish, and I also used really pretty silver pearl butterfly dazzles. They're lacy butterflies. So I'm gonna demonstrate making this box right here, and this has a little tag on the front. On the inside I've actually lined the bottom with some of the pink foil paper. This butterfly is kind of fluttering its wings, and that's backed on the foil paper. And this one I've done a little special treatment with the doily and just trying to trim it so that it'll fit flatly on this box. And then some ribbon. And on the side I've put Happy Easter, and the happy comes from the dazzle sheet, and the Easter I just had to write under there. But these not only make great gift boxes for Easter, but any time of year, and to just cheer up a friend, give a little treat. If you love baking those mini cupcakes, they fit perfectly in there. So here are the supplies I'm going to use to make these Easter boxes. This is the confetti ribbon set, and has 12 different ribbons, all sorts of colors, and they actually match pretty well with these aqua flourishes and pink flourishes foil paper, which I'm going to use to make the actual boxes themselves. I'm also using the mini bakery box template, which is a favorite of mine. It makes this really cute little bakery box. It's pretty adorable. And it has some window shapes that you can choose from over here to kind of give your bakery boxes that clear window look. Speaking of which, this is a clear piece of acetate, and the one in the bundle is the 12 by 12 mother themed one, which has this a banner across the top, and it's all about mother. I've just gone ahead and cut that part off, so I just have this clear piece of acetate, and I'm just going to use a little section of it to create that clear window. And last but not least, the silver pearl lacy butterflies dazzles, and you can see how pretty they are, very sparkly and glittery. And they do have a greeting on here, happy thoughts, and the rest of it's some pretty lacy butterflies, a lacy doily, and another large butterfly up here, as well as these pretty borders. So let's get started. Now, I'm not showing you how to do the whole pink box, but I do want to point out this technique that I've used with the silver pearl butterfly dazzles. So I'm using this large silver doily, and I'm just placing it on the top. This box does not have a window, and here's the front of it. So I'm placing it on the top of the box, and I want it to go just right about there. Okay, now I'm going to make some cuts. I'm cutting straight right here in line with the box. And then I can fold that part down and stick that down. And then I can fold the side down and trim that little corner here. Now, you could save this you could put it on another corner of the box. I'm going to place it on the back just as an accent. Maybe I'll put it like this. Since it is a perfect right angle, it fits in any of the corners, which I love. And that's how I got the round dazzle to be on this, well, I guess it's a flat surface on this three-dimensional box. And it's a fun technique you can use with pretty much any of the large dazzles if you want them to wrap around your corners or anything like that. So really simple, really fun, and lots of dazzles to choose from on that one. So I'm going to use the Aqua Flourishes foil paper first, and I'm going to actually turn it over to the back. Taking my template, and I'm going to place it in the top left corner here, just so I can maximize the use of my pretty foil paper. Okay, so now it's time to trace with a pencil. And remember to trace around all the outside lines as well as the fold lines. And some of them are cut lines and they'll be marked on the template as such. So, helpful to use the guide marks here. Okay, so I'm done tracing my bakery box. And you'll notice I did not trace the windows because those are optional, and you can actually switch out any of these shapes to replace that shape. And I actually want to use this square window, which has the nice rounded edges. So I'm going to center that in the middle of the top part of my box. And handy to have top half labeled on the template. So let me center this in that square, right about there. And then just trace my window. That looks pretty good. And if you look closely, you'll notice I have labeled the cut line C, just to keep everything nice and clear. Everything else is either the outside line, which you will obviously cut, or a fold line. So those are C's, and then right here on the template it says cut to point. So you're actually going to cut to this imaginary line right here. So it's kind of just easier to kind of sketch that in so that when I'm cutting, I can clearly see where to cut. So cut there and there. And I'm just labeling this for your convenience. So these will cut to the edge. These two sides have slits in them. And you'll see on the template it says slit A and slit B. So those will be cut, but do not cut all the way across because those are just supposed to be little slots. And those will, these tabs will insert into those slots once the box is all assembled. And you'll see that more clearly once we get this cut out. So I'm going to cut this out and I'm going to score on the fold lines. So here's my box shape all cut out, and I've also scored the fold lines. And the easiest way to do that is to take your ruler with a metal edge, place it along that fold line, take your retractable knife and make sure it's the back side of the knife and just run it along the ruler, and that'll kind of score the line so that when you fold it, it folds really sharply. As you can kind of see there, it makes a really nice box fold. And do that for all the fold lines, and then kind of fold and unfold along the lines to kind of see how your box is going to look. One note I do want to make is if you have a 12 by 12 sheet of this cardstock, this foil cardstock, you can make at least 2 boxes, and you can make 3. Just one of them is going to have a little bit narrower sides, and that's pretty easy to kind of center the template and just kind of trim off the tiny little bit that you'll need to fit 3 boxes on one sheet, which I think is a great deal. So I've folded these flaps in, and this is kind of how it's going to come together. Just like a bakery box. And with some glue and Zots, you'll have a perfect little box, and it has a perfect little opening. Now for the window, I've actually cut a piece of the clear acetate material, which I have right here. It's about 1 3/4 square, and the easiest way to attach this is with Zots. My best friend Zots. I use this on almost every project. I'm just going to apply a Zot to each of the 4 corners, the very corner of the window, what will end up being our window. And the Zots go on really easily to the acetate. So I'm pressing the clear acetate onto the little glue dot and lifting off. There we go. Alright, now centering our window. As long as it's covered, it's perfect. Alright, so there is the clear little bakery box window in the top there. Very cute. So I'm going to assemble this bottom part by inserting these little tabs into the slots. Now you might need to make the slots slightly bigger depending on how wide you cut them. Let's see if these will fit. You know, it's almost gonna fit. You can see it coming through here. Looks like I need a tiny bit more space, so I'm gonna cut the slit a little bit bigger and do that on all of them. It doesn't hurt to have it a tiny bit bigger so that you have some room to put those tabs in. So I'm bringing it over the outside of this side piece and inserting it into the slits here. And then for the top, I'm going to fold it like this with these side wings on the outside and go ahead and glue this with glue stick. Alright, so the other thing I've done to these inside tabs is I've just put a long piece of clear tape over those to secure them. You won't probably need to do glue or glue stick or anything, but the tabs hold pretty well on their own, but just to give them a little help, I put a piece of tape over them. And these I just did with the regular glue stick, and I just did a little bit more generous with the glue since the foil is a slick surface. So here is the finished plain box. Now we're going to decorate it up a little bit. So now I'm using my lacy butterfly dazzles, and I've peeled this one off right here. And I'm placing it on the pink flourishes foil. And I'm going to place it so that the antennae are kind of going off the paper here. And then I'm just going to cut around it. And then when I get to this part, I can just lift the antenna a little bit so I can kind of cut behind it a little more easily. So after I've cut this out, I kind of bended it back on both sides. Since it is the thick foil cardstock, it will retain its shape if you kind of manipulate it with your fingers a little bit. So now I have a cute little 3D butterfly, and I'm going to stick it on the top of my box, kind of going off the corner here. And that'll just go on with Zots. So now I've cut about 8 inches of this sheer polka dot ribbon, and I want this to go around the front 3 sides of my box. I don't want it to go around the back because I want the recipient to be able to open the box without having to untie or be afraid of ruining the pretty ribbon on the box. So I'm going to open the box pretty wide here and place my ribbon around, and then I'm going to make sure the ribbon's pretty tight on the edges, and then I'm going to tape the ends to the insides of these flaps, just with clear tape. And you can also put a few zots around the outside to help secure it as well. Okay, so this is what the inside looks like. Got a little bit longer end on that side, but that's okay, it's on the inside, no one will know. And then I'm going to put this iridescent aqua ribbon on top of the pink. And this time I'm going to keep it on the outside, so I'm not going to tuck it under. Because this is a little bit more bulky, I don't want it to kind of add more bulk on the insides of the flaps. So what I'm going to do, and I've cut the end of this with the Imaginis ribbon cutter, so the ends will not fray since they're melted shut. And this is going to be exactly 6 1/4 inches long. So right there. And I might just try and make a little mark here if I can. So open the ribbon cutter and place it right there. I'm actually going to wrap it along the sides of the ribbon cutter. So I'm holding it on both sides and then closing it. The light means that the wire is hot, and wait a few seconds and then press down. And my ribbon is perfectly cut. So see how this fits along the box? Pretty perfectly. So I'm just going to attach this ribbon with zots, or you could do it with zips. Either way works. And I'll be almost done with my box. Okay, so I've created a little tag for my box, and it's from the template. Let's see, it's right here. Here's the tag shape I used. I cut it out of the pink Flourishes foil, and I just wrote 2 on there with a permanent marker. Then I punched a hole in the top with this 1/8 inch hole punch. You could use a full-size hole punch. I just like the 1/8 inch because this tag is so tiny. I don't like how the larger hole kind of takes up the whole tag. And then I've knotted a little piece of the aqua metallic ribbon through the tag, placed a piece of foam tape on the back, and I'm just going to put this on the front of my box, kind of at an angle there. So there's your little recipient tag, and now your box is almost done. One more step to add a little more fancifulness, I guess you could say, to the inside of the box. I'm actually going to put a square of foil paper on the bottom of my box. So I've cut this 2-inch square of the pink flourish foil, and I've chopped just a tiny bit off the edge so that it'll fit on the inside of my 2-inch square box. And I'm just going to set it in the bottom, and looks like it fits perfectly. Press that down. So now I'm done with my all occasion box. It could be Easter, birthday, anything you want to give a little gift.